Growing up here in Canada, due to the CRTC, we end up listening to a lot of Canadian content. And one of the songs that I really liked growing up by Red Rider, before Tom Cochrane kind of made them from Red Rider to Tom Cochrane and Red Rider to just Tom Cochrane, was Lunatic Fringe. And I think that song describes this fight perfectly. We have Florida Man, the hybrid Niko Price, taking on Brazil's Demolidor, Michel Pereira. And when I look at this fight, both of these guys are A, man bun champions at 170 pounds, absolute wild men, and both of them have 2 no contests on their record. How crazy is that? For Michel Pereira, this is a guy that came into the UFC with a lot of fanfare because he do moonsaults with Road FC and the other organizations he was with. He fought with Heat at one point, which is an organization that you should definitely look into if you haven't before, because they had, like, I don't know, big time fighters and real oddities fighting with them. And if you look at it for Niko Price, and we talk about the no contest, well, he had one in his last fight, and he decided that sticky icky before a fight made a little bit of sense. It doesn't if you're a track and field runner, nor does it make sense if you're a fighter. And for Niko Price, he drew with Donald Cerrone. Now, would have won the fight if there wasn't an eye poke in the first round. One of the judges scored it 29-27 for Cerrone. The other 2 had it 28-28. Eventually, it's a no contest on the record. But for Niko Price, you look at it 2-2 with the 1 no contest in his last 5 fights. For Michel Pereira, 3-2. The losses were kind of weird. He lost to Tristan Connolly where he got too confident in Vancouver and then he got tired. He lost to Diego Sanchez because he kneed him in the head. And Diego, I don't know if he got coached into it or what happened. I won't throw stones, as they say. But for Michel, he looked great in his next fight against Salim Imadaev. He looked good against Chaos Williams in a back-and-forth close fight where you thought it was going to be fireworks, like I think this fight's going to be, but it didn't turn out so. But for Michel Pereira, he styled down the wildness a little bit in the Imadaev fight and the Williams fight. For Niko Price, the guy continues to do his weird, funky thing. Coming out of Cape Coral, Florida.
Let's not put sugar over that Chaos Williams fight. That was an awful fight. It wasn't back and forth at all. It wasn't a good fight. It was just 2 guys who were well aware that their opponent had a lot of power, and they didn't really want to engage. And that's the weird thing about this fight, because for Pereira, that's kind of what your style is based around to begin with. Like, you are that 50-50 fighter who, yes, on your off day, you might be able to get grinded on the ground by a guy like Tristan Connolly, because, yes, you're not going to have great cardio. You might have some defensive lapses, but you're this offensive weapon that no one can really stand with. We're starting to see, like you had mentioned, him tone down some of the craziness, but that was the thing that made him unique, and that's what I do worry about moving forward. The thing that makes Pereira is the fact that he can do the kicks, he can do the flips. The cardio is weird, and I know that's always kind of the commentary's gonna talk about it on his walkout to the cage. Oh, should he do the flip? Should he not? It's gotten us talking about him more than just unranked welterweight X, so it has done its job, and this is the first real step-up in competition that he's had in the UFC. Like, Niko Price is a legit, not contender, I think that's a little bit too far, but he's a legit action fighter in that, like, 25-15 range. I don't think he'll ever get a number next to his name, but I do know he can offer a very fun fight against guys who do have numbers next to their names. Go back, Randy Brown is a pretty good fighter, and he's the hotness right now. Niko Price knocked him out off of his back, doing hammer fists out. Like, this is how unique of a fighter that Niko Price is, and how weird his power is. He's a guy who can knock you out with those weird short shots, kind of like how I always think about when Ngannou knocked out Cain Velasquez, where it was like Cain kind of went for the takedown, just that little tap, but it was enough to put him down. Niko Price has that kind of power, where it's like, wait, what landed? And then the replay shows it was like an up kick or some weird hook. Just a really fun fighter to watch. And the thing about Niko Price too, which is sort of an outlier, is he has great cardio for a guy who has really high levels of output. He can fade against upper levels. Like, go back to the Luque fight, for instance. He does get finished in the 3rd round, really, in both of those fights. But when you just watch his fights, the eye test tells you that he can carry out very, very high output throughout 3 hard rounds. And that matters a lot. And that's honestly why Niko Price is at the stage that he is at. Like, again, Niko Price, we don't talk about this fight as okay, whoever wins this, you're ready for Neil Magny, or like Michael Chiesa next. No, but whoever wins this is then going to be put into a really, really fun fight. Maybe against like Santiago Ponzinibbio, or a name like that. Just guys out there who can offer really fun fights. I think this is a super fun fight on the card.
Winner of this fight gets Li Jingliang, and when I look at this fight, for Michel Pereira, he is that tricky fighter. He trains out of a very weird gym in Vegas. Like, he's been in Vegas for some time, but it's not the Extreme Couture of the world. It's, what is it, Overcome Academy? For Niko Price, same goes to him. It's Syndicate Boxing in Florida. So, and he's been there for a long time, and I know that. But for Niko Price, the weird thing is, and it might have just been the judgment of his last fight, He's a big guy at 170.
Fair.
I know even against Cerrone, who's a smaller guy at welterweight, Niko Price is a big guy in his other fights as well. So I'll be interested to see these two guys face off. Maybe I'll save my judgment till then. I do have a hard time with it. The odds are relatively close. Michel Pereira opened a minus 175 favorite. He's a minus 165 right now. Niko Price came in a plus 150. He's a plus 134. If we have a look over on Tapology, the fans, 1,384 of them. 67% Pereira, 41% by decision, 50% by knockout. The 33% that have Price, 38% by decision, 50% by knockout. Half the people think we're going to get a knockout, Matt. What are you thinking? Who's going to win?
I think Niko Price is going to win. Now, it's going to be a very closely contested matchup, but I'm kind of surprised this isn't a pick'em fight, because this is one of those fights where either Pereira lands one massive shot, Niko Price goes down, or vice versa. I really don't think this is going to go to the judges' scorecards, but if it does, I actually like Niko Price in this fight for that reason. I know he's going to be there all 15 minutes really hard. I've seen him fight Vicente Luque twice, and yes, he got finished twice. He got knocked out and submitted, but they were two back and forth fights, and he gave just as much as he took, and I really do think that Niko Price, unless it is those top tier fighters, he's gonna be able to go out there and have a really entertaining fight. And this is what I talk about when I talk about fighters like Ciryl Gane. I'll throw myself under the bus when I bring up when Ciryl Gane fights that I've never seen him go through adversity. That matters to me, because for Pereira, he faced adversity against Tristan Connolly and basically gave up in that fight. And that's a question mark I'm really going to have moving forward. If the going gets tough, I do have that question mark around him. He completely changed my opinion of him in this fight. If Niko Price goes out there, drops him once, he gets up and knocks out Niko Price, then my opinion of him will completely change. But for this weekend, I still have to pick Niko Price.
I like Michel Pereira in this fight. Again, he's got 36 fights that have gone to, into his record, and 2 of them that ended up in no contest. So there's 38 pro fights. He's 27. Like, he's a Dominican 27 to me. Like, he's a Fausto Carmona type 27. I don't know about that one. It doesn't really pass the smell test. But when I look at this one, Michel Pereira is a dynamic fighter. I think he's going to bring a lot of different things to the cage against Niko Price. And Price is a guy that's dangerous everywhere. But if he's liable to do anything, I mean, out of his losses, how many losses are there by decision, Matt?
Not many.
No, exactly. I mean, there's only 4 of them, but listen, both these guys are wrecking machines. I'm going with Brazil's Michel Pereira.
It's going to be such a good fight.
In this fight, it should be a great one. You have Niko Price to get the win. I'm really looking forward to it. Big time one in our next one. Matt, Carlos Condit is fighting. It's must-see TV. You can't miss it, so keep it locked in with Fight Night Picks, and as we always say,
let's get into it.